Crimson Desert just had its third major patch, and in this video I'll be breaking out all the changes that come with it, like the ability to toggle your headgear visibility. You can also change your movement controls back to the way they were. I also have this new cat outfit on my cat here, and there's some upgrades to the camp storage alongside a ton of bug fixes overall. And unfortunately, our Sonic Boom Super Saiyan flying ability has been nerfed. It's, I guess was a bug and it's no longer in the game. Hopefully they bring it back as maybe a toggle in the future, because I loved flying around at this speed. And the patch is now live on all platforms. Typically on consoles, it does take a little bit longer for them to reach it, but major update to the camp storage. So Greymane Camp expansion, now as you continue to level that up, you're now going to get 100 extra slots on each expansion to the camp, and the final one gives an additional 360. This is huge because it is extremely frustrating how little storage space that we get in a game that gives us so much loot. Another content related change, they also added an Abyss Nexus and Paloon here. So I had a bounty here for a lot of the games. I accidentally used the force palm to move through, and I broke some stuff. I thought there was always one here, but I guess there is this one here now in the middle. There might be another one, I'm not sure. It wasn't appearing for me. I ran through the city a couple times. Another really nice change is they improve the visibility of explosive barrels when you use the light refraction skill or shine your lantern on them. Now, this is something that's kind of annoying. Whenever you pull this out, you can see there all these bags that I can pickpocket are glowing yellow. The barrels previously did not do this. I was running around trying to find one, but they do glow bright like that, so you're much more aware of what you're going to hit when you get into a fight. There are also some changes to combat missions where sometimes comrades would have issues with it. There's also issues with the Abyss puzzles where they would refresh if you went into the map details, which is kind of annoying for Abyss puzzles. Fix an issue with a character become invisible if an Abyss artifact was obtained before the Abyss completion cutscene played. And also fix some issues where you'd lose the healing force palm and aerial force palm abilities when you reset all of your skills, and you have to like repurchase it here. They also said they changed the designs of certain gimmick monsters. I'm not sure what they mean by this, maybe the robotic ones, but yeah, that's nice to see some changes there. It seems like they're always going to be adding and improving their vision for the game, but there's also a new armor set and helmet for cats. I've seen a lot of people reporting that it's the cat plate armor. Like, I've seen some social media posts about it. Pretty sure it's the new Visionette here, or Visionette, and the Visionette neckerchief here. So whenever you look at the cat here, it has this really funny little appearance. So this is a kitten. There is like a one hidden kitten. I posted a video on how to get it. Oh, jumped on my back. But yeah, now you can have the little slug cat here. This guy stole from me. Yeah, I like the look of this, the cat armor helmet alongside the little neck chief there. So cool. I love that they're adding more outfits in this game. And hopefully we'll see some of the boss armor get added into the game as well, as it does sound like they are going to be adding some like free DLC like updates. They also made updates in the previous patch that it makes it so that you can go to Abyss Sky bridges, but there was also an update where the bank investment time would refresh and be stuck in the refreshing state. What's funny about this is an update to their update, so this was added today. Now, there's actually quite a few changes to the control and movement to this game. So if you want to change your movement controls, you're going to come into the options here and go under input. When you go down to the input menu, there's the movement controls here. So you got the basic and the classic. Classic is how it worked previous to the last patch that changed the movement. So with the normal basic, you just press A to accelerate, and then you can just maintain by casually pressing it while you're on your mount. In the classic, you'd have to do the Grand Theft Auto, spam the button to move quickly. So if you like the old movement style, you can switch back to that. I think that's a nice change, and hopefully they make some more changes like this where we have the option to go between two different ones. And with this change, they made changes on how stamina consumption for mounts work. So with the basic controls, it's going to just consume it continuously at set intervals. And with the classic, every time you press the button, it's going to consume it. So you have options, and it's cool. I like that they're doing that. This is actually a major change. Improve the conditions for using Abyss Nexus, allowing them to be used even when moving slightly, except in certain situations while mounted or while using flight. So that's one of my biggest gripes with this game, is every time that I went to teleport, even if my dude's foot was like a slight inch off the floor, it would not let you teleport. You probably had this happen to you hundreds of times. I know I have in the many hours that I put into this game already. This is a huge change. I like now being able to teleport, even when I'm like, you know, not perfectly still and holding my controller still for like 5 minutes. It's great. And it's also nice to see that they're looking to improve this even more in the future so they can use it while using certain mounts. This is great. And they also improved so the flight skill can be activated even while holding the jump key in midair. This is actually a nice change too, because previously when you go to double jump, it was very finicky because you would oftentimes pull out your little hover there, and now you press and hold it if you want to go into it, making that extra boosted jump really easy to pull off now, so you can jump and then go into this and you get that upwards momentum. This isn't enough to make up for the changes that they made to remove our supersonic Iron Man flight, but it's a nice enough change. and I'm glad to see that they're making little adjustments, as this was an annoyance for me. This seems to be a lot of like minor updates to the game that have just been annoying for people, which I think is great. They also improved the responsiveness when inputting a jump after attack, added an escape key guide when affected by elemental status effects, which is nice. Also fixed issues where the focus state would not be canceled after using the aerial roll. That was the thing that I'm talking about. I hope they make it a change that lets us choose between it, because I really enjoyed that. I do acknowledge that maybe it could be like a post-game thing, because it does make traveling around the map so much more trivial, and a lot of the abyss gates are so much easier with that. So maybe if you finish all the puzzles that would require that, let us have fun with it. I really enjoyed it. But there's also issues where weapons cannot be drawn inside Demoness Castle. A lot of combat related changes that were just like things that are annoying and would pop up bug related. The double boost horse ability would not activate properly. It's now working. Fix an issue where parry would not activate properly during focus with a two-handed sword. That's nice to see. Fix an issue where the camera would turn towards enemies while aiming with a tool. Yeah, that's something I actually noticed, kind of funny. And fix an issue with certain interactions were unavailable when a specific tool was equipped. And my number one hope that they add to the game is separating the two-handed weapons from the tools. Those should be definitely different slots. It is annoying to have to pick between them when you're in a fight. I just left all tools at camp most times just because it was annoying. But hopefully we'll see something like that in the future. It's one of the most fan requested comments or changes, and I do notice that they are listening to fan feedback, so hopefully if people keep talking about it, they keep making these changes. Anyways, they also fixed a issue where repeatedly pressing the sprint key would allow a horse to run at a maximum speed regardless of its stats. Womp womp. And fixing some quest related issues. I've always been advocating for saving often with this game because there's so many things that can mess up and many bugs in the quest. And when I do my guide videos for this game, I always try to look out for all the bugs that can happen. I test my own mods when I make them for other games, so I know what to kind of look for in terms of making sure that things work properly. But there's now issues in chapter 6 that are fixed where quest progression became unavailable after defeating a boss under a certain save load circumstance. They also made changes to the save and load screen, which are amazing. I'll get to that a little bit later. They also fixed an issue where quest progression become unavailable if a related item was sold during the rumor filled by greed quest. Nice to see that change. So frustrating. You can sometimes sell things that are obviously needed for the game. Fixed an issue in chapter 11 while the inserted key would disappear from the bag. I know what they're talking about there. That's great that that's changed. I didn't know that was an issue. NPC and NPC dialogue, fixed an issue where certain quest-related NPCs would not appear. Nice to see that. Across the board, lots of UI changes, mostly like the shop and the items. But the big one being the now save and load screens that are separated. Very frustrating story, and I'm sure that there's someone that's watched this video that had the exact same thing happen to them. You used to have to press the Y button to save and then A to load a game. I went to save my game multiple times and ended up just borking the save, loading a previous save, going back so far into the game, and I've done that a couple times just mindlessly while I'm just, you know, loading something or going to save. So I think this is going to save a lot of headaches, and it's nice to see that they're making changes to things like that. Save numbers also will be applied, so you can have a added slot for your save games, and it's not there with the auto saves. There's also an issue with the minimap scale would reset when riding a mount at full speed. Keyboard and mouse issues. I'm not sure if there's a lot of people that play on that because this game is kind of tough, but this is something annoying because whenever I use the camp chest, I sometimes just use the keyboard and mouse. I play on PC. This would disappear. Frustrating. They also made some changes to general UI that would bug out. They also made it so you can show the stow weapon guide, which was added on a previous update. It's now shown on mounts. So they're actually adding onto their previous patches, which I think is nice. Now the graphics and settings, there's a new change here. Whenever you go into the menu, you can go under settings, and it's kind of funny. It's under languages and gameplay, display headgear. Here you can go to either go always show, show in combat, hide in cutscenes, or always hide. This is nice because now you can just go ahead and remove any of the headgear you may not want to see, or just have it when it pops on in combat. Hopefully they'll have like the visor switch maybe added to this in the future. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It isn't like perfect, but nice to see this change here. I like to have it actually on the showing combat. I think that's really cool. Just the moment you get into a fight, you're geared up and ready to go. Pretty cool stuff. And across the board on PC and even on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, FSR quality has gone up, and they also made a lot of changes along here. Now, I noticed from the last update that there's less noise. It does sometimes still pop up. You may actually notice in this video, if I hold it still for a while, there is noise that does pop up. So there's still some issues with graphics here, even on like, I don't have any crazy card or anything. I just have an RTX 4070, but I do know people that have like 5090s that are having issues as well. So nice to see them making changes, and we'll probably see more continued changes. There's also some updates for the PlayStation 5 Pro and 4K upscaling on performance mode for Xbox Series X. But also lots of stability changes across PC, console, and Macs, localization updates across all languages, and there's also some walls that were disappearing. I've actually noticed that not on that quest, but Oddly enough, sometimes walls disappear in this game. I'm not sure if you guys have encountered that as well, but it does pop up. Also improved sound design, so the position changes when with the camera perspective. This is nice, especially if you like to play with headphones. This I did notice a little bit. Nice to see that change. And you can also see the noise appearing in the background actually now that I mention it. So you see that there. And whenever I move it, now the mountains are going back to being normal. So that's something I've noticed happening a lot more with this latest update. So maybe we'll see an update for that in the future. But they also have fixed other in-game issues. It's kind of vague, but there's probably a lot of changes they made across the board here. But yeah, lots of small changes across the board. I'm excited to see the future of this game. This is 3 major patches that they've released so far. This is almost unheard of. Like, I love to play video games, and you don't see this kind of support often. There's great developers out there like Larian, but Perla Best, this is their very first game that they made that's not like a MMO. Yes, they do have experience with the MMO and weekly updates to that, but they're listening to the player feedback, and I think that is really great and worth acknowledging. So shouts out to Perla Best. They're doing a great job with this game. I'm really enjoying it. I got over 100 hours in the game and beaten it already. Loving it, and don't see myself stop playing this anytime soon. There's just so much to do. So let me know your thoughts on the patch and the updates, and hit the subscribe button below for more Crimson Desert content. Hope you guys all have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next one.